a lot of things that happen in the feet really start in the arches. And most people don't realize this, but there's actually 3 arches to the feet. There's one on the inside of the foot, across the middle of the foot, and on the outside of the foot. Most of the shoes that we have only affect the inside arch of the foot. It doesn't affect the middle and the outside. And therein lies part of the problem.
Hey, fitness and health fans. It's time to get your game on and crush it with Coach Marghella in another episode of Sporting Good Fitness. Join us for the podcast that will coach you from the sidelines to keep you on your game no matter what health or fitness game you play.
Hey, I'm Coach Marghella. I'm sporting good fitness. What are you sporting?
Hey, Coach Marghella, what do you have for us today?
Hey everyone, this is Coach Marghella back with another episode of Sporting Good Posture. And if you remember from our last episode, we talked about the posture of living. And to recap a little bit, it just talked about all the things that add up to the symptoms and health issues you're having now. We talked a little bit about sitting, standing, sleeping. We talked about working out. We talked about a lot of different things that can affect you as far as your health now. And all those things accumulate through that timeline and basically starts through birth and ends through going to work every day, sitting at a desk. And everything that accumulates over that time period has caused you to be unhealthy at this point or have symptoms or whatever's going on. That's really where we're at now. One of the things that we mentioned is about the feet, and the feet being the foundation of the body, how it affects the rest of the body as well as your posture. And a lot of things that happen in the feet really start in the arches. And most people don't realize this, but there's actually 3 arches to the feet. There's one on the inside of the foot, across the middle of the foot, and on the outside of the foot. Most of the shoes that we have only affect the inside arch of the foot. It doesn't affect the middle and the outside. And therein lies part of the problem, because many people's arches are collapsed, and they say they might have good arches, but you may have a good arch on the inside of your foot, but the other 2 arches may be collapsed. And that's where I find a lot of issues in the feet. So you may be thinking, well, why don't I just run down to Walmart and just do one of the scanners there? One of the Dr. Scholl's scanners and check out what's going on in my feet. And those scanners do have a purpose. And I have one in my office as well, but it goes beyond just scanning the feet. There's more to it. There's a whole chain reaction that actually happens above that. And just, if you start gelling and you're just wearing those inserts, you may have partially corrected something, but you may have actually increased the problem somewhere else. And there may be issues in your knees, your hips, your back, in between your shoulders, or even as far as your neck that's affected by the imbalances in your feet. And again, you haven't addressed those issues because you don't really know if they're happening or not. You just put a pair of inserts in hoping that it would solve the problem. And many times it creates more problems. So again, not to dispel the technology that there is out there, but it's only a piece of really the diagnostic part of finding out what's wrong. Because again, you can do the scanner and there's definitely validity to that. And like I said, I have a scanner in my office, but you're not recognizing the other symptoms that could be part of that as well. A lot of people come in and they're dealing with knee pain, or they're having hip pain or back pain. And these are direct symptoms, whether it's coming from the feet or whether it was there before, that are going to impact your overall health and overall imbalances in posture as well. So take the knees, for instance. If you're looking in the mirror and you see some imbalances, like I said, whether it's your hips, your knees, it's going to affect the rest of your body. So if that knee is turned in a little bit, it may be dropping the hip on that one side, and that's going to affect your body's ability to be balanced, possibly causing pain. And then if you go up from there, you may have that high shoulder on one side or the other, like we talked about in our last episode. And if you're dealing with that as well, now you have a full chain reaction going on that may have been caused by the feet. And again, if those other problems aren't addressed, you're really only dealing with part of the problem there. You're not actually fixing the whole body. And that's what it is. It's a whole body effect that happens when the feet are imbalanced and there's other imbalances up through the body, throughout into the shoulders and into the head. So the other thing that people don't realize is weight distribution is a huge part of it. And a lot of times people are putting more weight on one side of their body than the other. And a good way to notice this is go ahead and then take a look at any of your shoes that you have. Go in your closet, grab your dress shoes, grab your tennis shoes. Look at the wear patterns on the back of the shoes. Do you notice if there's an issue on the outside of the right foot, but not on the left foot, and it's worn down more on that side? Do you notice if the front part of your shoes have more wear on the tread than the other side, or on the left side as well? If you look at those shoes and you see those wear patterns are off and they're not even on both sides, you know that your weight distribution is off. But the biggest thing is, how do you fix that? And first of all is knowing, okay, I'm standing here. How much weight am I putting on one side or the other? Is the weight distribution on the right different than the left? Am I putting 60% of my weight on my right? Am I putting 45% of weight on my left? It just depends on what your balance is and figuring out where it's coming from. And that's one of the things that we do in the office is figure out the weight distribution, because that plays a big role in the chain reaction that happens above the feet. So you may be thinking, well, maybe I should just be shifting my weight, to balance my feet out. Or maybe when I'm sitting and I'm feeling like I'm slumping, maybe I should just be aware of that more and just sit better. But if you think about it, good posture shouldn't have to be manufactured. It should just be good posture without trying. So what I'm trying to say is, while you're sitting there at your desk, if you have to actively pull your shoulders back and sit up straight at your desk, how long do you think you can actually do that as well? Maybe a couple of minutes at the most. So if you're trying to do that, you haven't fixed the problem. You're just trying to do something else to change it, but it never actually fixed it. Because again, good posture just happens naturally. And same thing with your feet. If you find out, oh, well, I put 60% of the weight on the right and only 40% on the left, well, I'm just going to shift my weight back into the center. It's not as easy as it sounds, because your body's made that compensation pattern for a reason. A lot of times it's to help prevent future damage in other areas. But again, your body took time to get in that position. It takes time to undo that. And by doing it manually, it's not going to actually fix it. It's just a temporary fix. So again, just like we did in the last episode, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. And part of that is just figuring out where the imbalances are. So consider your timeline, consider your history. Again, go through things that have happened to you, whether it's sports accidents, car accidents, damage from slips and falls, whatever it was that created this problem. Look at your posture, look at how you're standing, look at how you're sitting. Think of the symptoms that you're currently dealing with. Think of the symptoms that you may have had in the past that sometimes creep up and go away, but they're still there. They're symptoms. Basically just figuring out where it comes from. And that's really what you need to do, is just figure out the cause of the problem again, because posture is just that symptom of the timeline of events that created that problem. It's from birth till now, and there's many things that can be a factor into that, and that's what we just got to figure out where it is. So again, just finding the cause of that problem is where we need to start. So again, if you see anything, if there's something that's imbalanced and you looked at your shoes and maybe you see different wear patterns on your shoes, or you're looking at your posture and something just doesn't seem right, please reach out to me directly. Emails, Facebook messages, Instagram messages. It's something that I look forward to doing, because I want to be there to help you. So on Facebook at Ideal Health and Wellness Center, on Instagram at Ideal Health Wellness Franklin, and also my email is gethealthy@idealhealthwellnesscenter.com. Reach out to me and I will personally get back to you. I enjoy helping people and figuring out what the cause of the problem is, and figuring out how I can help you figure out the answer. Your feet are the main contact point to planet Earth. And for 2/3 of the day, you're on your feet. And there's a lot of pressure that goes on through those feet. There's a lot of things that they deal with to create that unbalanced pattern that's happening. But looking at the rest of the body and looking at the imbalances that are created in the knees, the hips, the back, the neck, the shoulders, that's where you have to solve the problem in the whole body to fix the problem in the feet. It's really a full body issue and not just an issue that's coming up in the feet. Thanks again for listening today to another episode of Sporting Good Posture, and look forward to talking more about specific things in the future. Again, we talking about yoga and working out and other instances that posture greatly affects your total body health. And remember, the coach's door is always open. I'm Coach Marghella. I'm sporting good posture. How about you?
Thank you, Coach Marghella, for another thrilling episode.
Sporting Good Fitness is a broadcast wellness production powered by Ideal Health and Wellness Center in Franklin. Executive producer, Frank Sardella. Dr. Marghella appears courtesy of Ideal Health and Wellness Center, copyright 2018, all rights reserved. For more information, visit sportinggoodfitness.com.
That's a wrap, Coach. Good one, man. That's good.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's perfect.